I'm gonna try to document this real quick. Me fixing the speaker wire. Most things I seen online were speaker wire that just had a single strand. So I'm gonna do my best to explain how I fixed this speaker wire with this dual stranded. As you can see, I had an accident with our new puppy. She chewed the wire clean through, and I knew I could splice it, but I was hoping to just use a butt connector. With the wire though, I don't know if you can see this very well in here. There's two sets of wire there. You can see the copper wire on the inside and what is most likely aluminum wire on the outside. Ideally, when you do this, you'll have two separate sizes of heat shrink. What I did to prepare this is I stripped the wire back, and then I twisted the aluminum wire together, and then I just stripped a little tiny bit of the copper. And I'll show you why in a second. I'm going to solder the copper ends together on each one, and then we're just going to use the heat shrink on the outside to basically recreate this double sleeve setup that they have, and I will attempt to show you how I did that. So then what my next step would be is I cut back some of the small heat shrink, and then I will slide it over the end of this wire. Take the one piece of aluminum wire and fold it back over, and then this heat shrink preferably will fit nice and snug over the top of that. And you just want to do this because you want to leave yourself plenty of room to solder that copper end there to the other copper end. And then you need this heat shrink on there already because this is going to be our heat shrink that covers the copper soldering. And then we will cut the larger stuff and put it on the other end, this end which I haven't prepared yet, and we'll slide it down this end. That way we can slide it over both of them simultaneously so that we end up being able to create this double sleeve setup. That down on to this side. So what you'll end up with before you start soldering it all is small heat shrink, big heat shrink. If you have the same size heat shrink, I would suggest still doing 1 and 1. Either way, you're going to want 2 pieces of it. So you don't necessarily have to do it this way. You could put them both on the same side. It doesn't matter. This is just how I decided to do it. Okay, so once you solder your inside one together, I'm sure you can see what we're going to try to do here. We'll slide this small piece off. Small heat shrink. And it took some of the aluminum with it. That's okay. Okay, and then we're going to just shrink that real quick. So then what I ended up doing on my other one is we just take this aluminum outer sleeving and we bring it up here together and melted heat shrink. Now you could, if you were real good, you could solder this together. I'm not real good, so I just kind of lay that together like that there, touching, and then gently move this over the top. And ideally now underneath, that will create basically a double sleeve, just like the original wiring was. Trying not to remove any of that. Okay, and you just heat shrink that back down. And hopefully we did that right, or this is going to be embarrassing. I have no idea if you can hear that or not. But the sound changed. I assure you it is working on mine. Hopefully you can hear him crash and stuff on Teardown.